I want to bring in Michigan Democratic Congresswoman Debbie Dingell. Always good to see you. What's your reaction to the deal that's being circulated? Congresswoman, does it have your support?
Chris, I haven't made a decision yet about what I'm going to do. I have to say several things. I've been angry for days for many reasons that we are being held hostage. We cannot default on our loan, our debts, and I know that. Yet at the same time, we cannot be rubber stamps. Compromise is not a dirty word. That is something I've said all of my life. But on the other hand, I have questions. I want to understand who is going to be have work requirements. What is the definition of a dependent? A lot of people talk about children, but a lot of people don't understand the senior care crisis we have in this country, and families that are really struggling to take care of older family members and are suffering and need food. I'm very worried. My husband was one of the authors of NEPA 50 years ago. It is considered a bedrock of environmental law around the world. I acknowledge and say to people, we must modernize it, but we shouldn't be doing it in an untransparent way. I've been reading the language. I'm asking questions. When I'm done with this, I'm going to get on a briefing with John Podesta. So I think I feel the way a lot of members do. I feel cornered. I feel like we are being held hostage. We should be in regular order. We should never be in this position again. And yet I cannot and will not be a rubber stamp. The people of the 6th District didn't elect me to be that.
So let me ask you about a couple of the specifics on things you just touched on. One specific part of the deal, and something that many Democrats had said was a non-starter, is changing rules for SNAP recipients. The age of people who must work to get food stamps would go up, for most of them, from 52 to 54. And according to one source on McCarthy's call to his caucus, he said, in reference to this and some other things, we cut the woke out. Are you okay with that specific change as a compromise?
I will be on another call this afternoon, and I have questions about definitions and how it's really going to impact people. As you've said, compromise is not a dirty word, and I am very happy on Memorial Day that I'm somebody that is a very ardent and strong defender of veterans. And veterans are really struggling, and the homeless are struggling. But I'm going to ask specific questions after having read through it for some definitions today.
And your answer may be the same on this, although I think it's a little easier to understand. Has been easing of permits for energy projects, and one significant one would expedite a natural gas pipeline in Joe Manchin's West Virginia. Environmentalists say it would hurt wetlands, it would hit national forest land. Do you see that as being a bridge too far?
You know, we're going to have to vote on things we would not vote on if they were a straight up and down vote. Again, worried. We'll be asking questions very specifically. Is this precedent setting? In the committee, I offered a very specific amendment so that we did not eliminate three branches of government. Judicial review, while I know these things have to be expedited, we cannot eliminate. So I have a question. Is this precedent setting? Does that mean we're going to eliminate judicial review for any other project? None of this is simple. I know that compromise is not a dirty word, but I need to know what is going to be the precedent being setting by voting for this at the same time. We are being held hostage. That is a very real word for where we are right now. There are things I would never vote for under normal circumstances.
Some things the president did not get. He didn't get tax hikes on the wealthy. He didn't get an expansion of discounts for insulin. Those are two of the things he talks about all the time when we watch him go out into states across the country. He talks about the wealthy paying their fair share. He talks about bringing down the cost of prescription drug prices repeatedly. Do you think the White House got enough concessions from the Republicans in this deal?
Again, I'm going to state point blank. I don't think that we should have taken all revenue off the table. I do believe that billionaires should pay their fair share. I do believe that we should be eliminating loopholes that incentivize American companies to locate overseas. There are a lot of things that I think the American people agree with us should be on the table. And I hope that we will still find a way to go back to that. And if people are going to the subject of insulin and people being able to afford their medicine, I hope people hold people accountable exactly where they should be, that Republicans voted against lowering the cost of the insulin for diabetics across this country, period.
Michigan Congresswoman Debbie Dingell, thank you so much.